All right, so recently I got this card from my friend. He picked it up for me. It is a Scizor. Can you see that? And I think it's a pretty cool looking piece of art because Scizor is my favorite Pokemon. And that got me thinking about how much I really do enjoy not just Pokemon, but bug Pokemon specifically. And that made me want to talk about some bug Pokemon today. So let's rank some of the best and worst bug Pokemon. Dynamic entry. Welcome back to the channel, guys, and thank you as always for joining us. And if you have not subscribed already, hey, you could probably do that right now if you'd like to. You don't have to, no pressure. There's no bugs under there, I promise you. But there are bugs in this video, and yes, I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite and least favorite Pokemon that are of the bug variety today. Now, real life Pokemon, no, real life bugs, I'm not a fan of. They're gross, in fact. In fact, I hate them more than anything. But when it comes to bug Pokemon, I love them more than anything. They're probably my favorite type. Fighting and bug are like a toss-up. You can ask me on a different day, and I'll tell you which one's my favorite. But for some reason, when it comes to bug Pokemon designs, for some reason, Pokemon, the company, locks in, and they make like some of the coolest looking Pokemon there is, and some of the worst ones, in fact. So, yeah, let's just talk about some of them and rank them. It's going to be a tier list video. You guys know them. You might love them. You might hate them. Either way, that is how I'm going to rank them. So yeah, S tier being the best designed Pokemon ever, and we'll go down to probably F tier, but I doubt there'll be like really any F tiers, to be honest. But we'll go to F tier for like the worst ones. So yeah, let's get into some of those creepy crawlies. Okay, so let's get the obvious one out of the way first. Scizor is my favorite Pokemon of all time, so that is going to be the S tier. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It is the perfect looking bug Pokemon. The color scheme, the design of the claws, his face, just everything about him is awesome. And I saw the leaked designs of what it looked like before they revised it, the first edition, I guess, of what a Scizor was. And it was cool, kind of, because it kind of kept the same color scheme of the Scyther that came before it, but then for some reason they changed it and made it more awesome by making him red. And yeah, I don't know what it is. When I first saw him as a Pokemon, I was like, greatest thing ever. And yeah, he's just the coolest. I know he's not like the strongest, but for me, he's my personal favorite, and nothing will ever beat him. You know, technician and just punching everything. What's better than that? So S tier for Scizor, on the opposite end of the scale. I know I said earlier that there wouldn't be very many F tier ones, but this is an F tier. It's going to be Butterfree. I know, it might be a hot take, but for some reason, when I was watching Butterfree as a child and seeing the way it acted like a whiny little brat, that might just be me internalizing some things inside myself, but for me, Butterfree was just like the most annoying, clingy Pokemon ever, and it was just like so useless in battle. I know it gets like stronger plot armor, I would say, but for me, just the design of it, the face, and just like its scream and the way it sounds in the show, not a fan. So yeah, that's gonna be an F tier for me. Very bottom of the barrel, Butterfree, you know? Get out of here. Okay, so a very middle of the road Pokemon, when I think about just like, that is a bug type Pokemon, like sure, that's a bug. That's going to be, for me, a C ranking for Durant. Yes, Kevin Durant, the Pokemon. It is just a ant, I guess. That's just the whole basis of it. When you see it, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a bug. Cool. It's a steel type because it's covered in steel. Go figure. But when I see it, I'm just like, you know, it doesn't do a lot for me. It's just very baseline, like, okay, yeah, we made an ant. Okay, cool. We ran out of ideas. Here you go. Here's an ant for you. And it's just like, I don't know. When I think of an ant, they could have done something a little bit cooler. Maybe like, I don't know, a flying ant or something. Or like, you know how like Phalanx has like multiple bodies that makes up the one Pokemon? Maybe they could have just had like a colony of ants make up one Pokemon. Like that one fish Pokemon, the school of fish or whatever, that forms one big Pokemon. Have that be the basis of a Durant. But for me, just seeing just a regular Durant, I'm like, this is kind of terrible. I don't really like this, but it's not like the worst design. So that's why I think it's like pretty middle of the road, C tier as far as bug types go. All right, you want to know a bug steel type that works for me? It's going to be Fortress. I had no idea this man was a bug until like recently. I thought he was just steel because you don't really see what he is. He doesn't open up as just the eyes, and then it closes into itself and it spins around. So that doesn't really give bug to me. That gives just like rock, right? It'd be like a rock type, especially the name Fortress, like you're fortified. So yeah, finding out that he was bug type definitely raised him for me. Even though I did kind of already like Fortress growing up because Brock had him, and every time he came out, he had like a really cool like Fortress, and you're just like, oh, that's a big hunk of meat. You can't get through it, and it's just like defensively sound, and I like that in a Pokemon. I like when they're just like solid defense. Defense wins championships, and yeah, he's a very good like rapid spinner. So if you have to battle up against someone who lays a bunch of spikes and toxic spikes, he can just spin out of it. And yeah, not like the most flashiest design, but the fact that it's like enshrouded in mystery, I think that's why it works for me. Unlike Durant, where I'm like, that's an ant. When I see Fortress, I'm like, what is that? That's a rock? No, it's a bug. He's inside there somehow. I don't know. According to like Pokedex, it says that he's a bagworm type, which I don't know what a bagworm is, but that might be the inspiration for him. I'm not sure. Or maybe like when you pick up a rock and you see a bug underneath it, that's kind of like the vibe I get from him. But yeah, Fortress for me, definitely a step up from Durant. So I'm gonna make him higher, but it's not gonna be like super high because he's still like not the coolest looking overall. So for me, Fortress would be a B tier Pokemon. And what's Steel's biggest weakness? Fire. That's right, fire type. We have a bug fire type in the form of Centiskorch. This one kind of rules. This is like later generations when Pokemon design has, for me at least, gotten a little bit lazier, but at this point, we hadn't got a centipede design like this before, and Centiskorch came in and was like, hey, look, I'm a fiery centipede. What's cooler than that? And I think not a lot. That's why I want to rank Centiskorch as an A tier. It's not S tier because I think the color palette on it is a little bit lacking. They could have did a little bit more color-wise with it, or gave it more, like menacing leg designs. I don't know. But yeah, Centiskorch, for being a centipede Pokemon, I think he did a really good job, and the fact that it's fire type, that's kind of cool too. And I forgot whose it was. It was one of the leaders. That was like his ace Pokemon. So I gave him a little bit more aura. And he just like the way he's like stands over you. Kind of cool. But yeah, overall, design-wise though, better than most, but not quite there yet. Centiskorch for me is an A tier Pokemon. Okay, so all these worm-type Pokemon, do we really care about them? They're all kind of the same. Weedle, Caterpie, Wurmple. I want to lump them all together as just like worms, and I'm going to put them in a D tier because that's kind of the whole point. They're not supposed to be like flashy or cool or anything. Their evolutions are cool, but for they themselves, D tier because it's just a worm at the end of the day. So yeah, those all worm type Pokemon, you're going to D tier, all right? You're not nothing, all right? Give it some time though. You will be something. All right, I feel like it's time for another S tier Pokemon. It's going to be Heracross, okay? Beetles are just cool. Any beetle type Pokemon, awesome. Beetleborgs, super sick. Power Ranger Ninja Storm, when they came in, those two Crimson Ninjas, they were beetle inspired, sick. Any beetle, give it to me. Hercules beetle, there's some more, I can't think of them off the top of my head. Any of them, they're automatically going to be super cool in my book, and I think that that's just my biasy, but also Heracross is awesome. Even like as a Pokemon, he just like wants to fight people, and he's like one of Ash's coolest Pokemon, I think, in my opinion. And then he has a Mega, which is cool too. And he's just like total vibes. When you see him, you're like, cool. He doesn't have the flashiest color palette, I'll give you that. Like Centiskorch, where it's just all, one color, all navy blue in his case, I guess. But the wings, when they pop out, they're cool. And he's just like, he's a beetle, man. He's cool. So for me, S tier, you can't deny him. He's just so rad. All right, then we have one that's kind of just like, I guess, what are we doing here? Kricketune. Cool, Pokemon Scream when you press it on the game and it just makes that. I like that. Kricketune has a cool cry. But as far as his design goes, not for me, man. This is kind of just like all over the place. I don't think it's like terrible, but for me, it's just like, it's too wacky, Like for a bug, like a cricket type Pokemon, I get it. If you did it like exactly, it might look kind of like just boring, but you kind of went too far on like the creativity for this one, and yeah, it just never does it for me. Whenever I see a Kricketune, I'm like, do I want that on my team? No, I don't want it. It doesn't really do much for me. When I make an all bug Pokemon team, It's not part of it. Kricketune just gets left on the bench, usually a lot of the times. He's there for, like, moral support, but, like, being on the team, yeah, not going to do it for me. But I don't think he's terrible, so I'm going to put him in the C tier. Kricketune with the K, no. Kricketune with the C, you're going to C tier. Okay, and then when it comes to, like, the butterfly, moth-type Pokemon, every generation has them. They make them look all colorful and cool and, like, you know, all this stuff, yada yada. It all kind of just looks the same after a while. I think Dustox is probably the best one out of all of these, just because it's so underrated and overlooked. For me, the big old little eye things and, like, the color palette of it all, I think it's super solid out of all the other ones. The other ones try too hard, or the other ones don't do enough, or they're annoying like Butterfree. No. Dustox, I think, is kind of like the hipster choice. It's like, oh, what's your bug type's favorite bug type? It would be Dustox, as far as, like, these types of Pokemon go, like the flying ones. He's cool. Very underrated in my opinion. So for that, I'm going to give it a B tier, Dustox. You're going straight to the Bs. Speaking of B tier, I'm also going to put Genesect in the B tier. I know this might be a hot take. People like Genesect. It has a cool design. But for me, I feel like you're doing a whole lot with, like, no substance. It's just like, what can we make look super cool but have nothing, like, really of value? I know it's, like, has a movie and stuff like that, and, like, based off of that, you should really like it. But for me, I was just kind of like, saw Genesect, like, yeah, it's cool, but, like, you know, it's just like, you want me to make it. You want me to like it. That's the thing. Like, you made it for fans to like it, you know? You didn't, like, organically grow it to be, like, a fan favorite. It was just kind of like an industry plant of a Pokemon, I think. So, yeah, Genesect for me would just be, like, B tier. Like, it's still cool. I'm not going to lie. It is cool looking, but I don't feel comfortable going higher than that because that's what they want. That's what big bug Pokemon want. They want you to put Genesect in S tier, and I'm not going to do it. So, yeah, Genesect for me, you get to be in the B tier. But Skolopede's kind of cool. I really like Scolipede. I don't think I like him enough to put him in S tier. He's really cool, but there's something holding me back. Maybe because, like, I don't know what it is, you know? So he had the credentials to get in, but for me, I don't want to put him in S tier because I think that A tier feels more right for Scolipede because I don't think it wants to be S tier, you know? Like, when you think about Scolipede, it's like, oh, he's always solid. It's always going to be, like, one of the big, like, anchors for your team if you're making a bug-type team. But it's just like, you know, I don't know what it is. He just doesn't have enough to get S tier for me. It doesn't quite reach it, but it is a very high A tier for me. I do enjoy it, and every time I see it, I'm like, oh, cool, a Scolipede. But as far as, like, that next level, you know, Scolipede's not it. But it is still a very solid and awesome bug-type Pokemon. But I'll tell you what an S tier is also, besides my other two guys in here, Orbeetle, okay? One of the newer Pokemon, one of the newer bug Pokemon. I don't know what it is. When I first saw his design, I was like, oh, okay, we get it. Again, beetles are super cool. But you mix, like, a spaceship with a beetle, and that's, like, his whole thing. He goes, like, to a UFO and spins. How can you not like that? That's just, like, thinking outside the box, but also keeping it in the realm of just being, like, a bug type. His big old cranium, the way his little body just hangs, it reminds me of, like, Men in Black a little bit. But yeah, that's just, like, a peak design when it comes to a bug Pokemon. It's not doing, like, an over-the-top. I know, it spins. It becomes a UFO. How is that not an over-the-top? I don't know. Just when I see it, though, I know it. I'm like, what I didn't know with Scolipede is what I know with Orbeetle. You know, when you see it, you're like, yeah, you got it. You got something. Scolipede doesn't have it. But Orbeetle, when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, this is sick. It's not like the strongest Pokemon, but I do always want to include it in my bug-type teams from now on because it looks so cool and it fits in the theme of, like, what I think an S tier is, for me at least. And I think Orbeetle's super cool, and it's, you know, a newer one, so it has time to grow and get better throughout the generations, and I think his design will age like wine. Orbeetle, you're new to everybody else, but to me, you're number one. Not really number one, but to me, you're number one in my heart, okay? I love you, Orbeetle. Buzzwole, don't even try it with me, okay? This is another one of those, like, Genesect type Pokemons where, like, we're gonna make this and people are gonna like it because it's a buff Pokemon. It's not that easy. Yeah, he's got muscles, but he has no, like, substance up here, you know? Like, a mosquito, cool. We hadn't done that in a while, or, like, ever at this point, I think, right? But let's make him buff because he sucked so much blood. Kind of cool. But again, I just feel like it's an industry plant type Pokemon where it just doesn't really, it doesn't get over with. It doesn't fool my eyes, okay? When I see a Pokemon and I see bug type specifically, I don't accept him as a bug type Pokemon. I think that it's just like an alien. It's not a bug when I see it. That's just like nonsense. So for that, and for trying to sneak and laugh in my face, you're going to be a D tier Pokemon. That's right, Buzzful, D tier Pokemon. All right, and that'll be it for all of my ranking of these Pokemon that I've just been kind of looking at and thinking about lately over these last couple days. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my rankings. You might disagree. You probably do, but you might agree as well. So whatever your opinion might be on these bug-type Pokemons, let me know down below in the comments. Let me know some of your favorites or some of your least favorite bug-type Pokemons. I'd like to reply to those and tell you guys how right or wrong you are, but all bug-type Pokemon are very cool at the end of the day. They're cooler than most types, okay? Thank you, bug-type Pokemons. Thank you guys for watching this. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, you can subscribe down below, follow down below, all that stuff. We truly appreciate it. We're almost at 650 subscribers, which is almost at 700, which is kind of cool. So thank you guys for being on this journey. And until next time, go outside and catch a bug.